I don't like where this is going. Stop! Stop! No, 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 no. Please, Larry, you don't understand. You don't know what you're doing here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of ShadowEye, the second great episode of ShadowEye. What? Okay. Are we all shocked that it's 2 weeks in a row we're doing the show?
I am super shocked because usually we take a week in between.
Well, you know what? We're just gonna get it. We're getting it done. You know.
Let's make this become a weekly thing, shall we?
We should. You wanna know why? Because this show is barely alive. We need to save it. We need to resuscitate it.
The very show which we completely forgot about. I made a mask for you, Austin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. Do you remember the ShadowEye mask?
Yeah.
In the merch store? Yeah. The very show that we forgot about, ShadowEye. We do have merch up for it.
Yeah, so go check out the ShadowEye mask.
Yeah, guys.
And today, for our ShadowEye reviews, we are going to be reviewing something that's very near and dear to our hearts, shall we say. Nostalgia runs in our blood for this movie. I mean, come on. If you have never seen this movie, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest with ourselves. So what the fuck are you doing? We are reviewing the very first Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. Not the book. Nothing. Just the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure we've all seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first, let's acknowledge everyone in the chat first. Yo, what's up, Kavari? We gather here together in the holy name of Snyder. You right. Austin, your title name is wrong. It should be ShadowEye 16, the Holy Snyder Bible Review. Well, hey, it's the Three Musketeers. Who'd you guys rob this week?
Well, let's go down the list, shall we? We robbed from Big Afford Entertainment, Comic Chat, Robert Storms, The Real Review 3000, and many other channels.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit. What's up, Deshaun? But before we begin, let's go around the panel. We're going to start with Sauerkraut. Where can they find you at?
Well, I'm first today. Very, very special. Very honorable. You guys can find me on my own YouTube channel, Sauerkraut, where I mainly do reviews for shows that I watch. I'm on Instagram at Sauerkraut06, on Twitter at Sauerkraut06, and on Discord at Sauerkraut6 and the 443. I am also on the Austiners channel and Intro 243's channel.
Very nice, very nice. Next up, we got Ninjoid243. Ninjoid, where can they find you at?
Alright, you guys can find me on my own YouTube channel, Ninjoid243, where basically over there I am going to be doing my Ninjoid cuts to the sequel trilogy, where I will be improving on the sequel trilogy, telling the same story, but told very differently, with a different tone, a connected tone, and cohesiveness throughout the entire story that will make it very good, and better than the one that we got. Also, you can find me on Galactic Chat, which is my own show on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where this week we will be doing our top 10 favorite Star Wars villains, as well as our top 10, as well as Bad Batch Episode 8, which a lot of people are looking forward to. You can also find me on the Chaos Central YouTube channel on Sunday nights at 8:30, where we talk about Bad Batch, where I'm there with wonderful people, including Austin. And I'm always on Austin's channel for most of his streams, such as ShadowEye and Splash Talk. Excited to see what fan fiction we read this upcoming week. And yeah, also hashtag release the Nindroid cuts.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And I've read this. I just read Kavari's recent comment, and I am shocked. All right, I am very, very surprised. Never seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I'm sorry, guys.
Hmm. What?
What? What the fuck?
Okay. I'm going to tell you, Kavari, you and I, we might do a watch party of it.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, the only one that's
The
not on
first
Disney
two.
Plus is it's the first two in long haul. Dog Days is on HBO Max.
Okay. Yeah, Kavari, we might actually have to do a watch party later on this week about it when we have time.
Indeed. And you know what? I actually saw this movie in theaters.
Ooh, nice. Very, very sexy.
And this movie actually made me a fan of the books. Which I actually watched the movie first and read the books, and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I guess when was the first time you saw this movie?
I first saw this movie, I think it was, okay, so I knew that these movies came out. It's just I did not have the interest in them at first till I think it might be 2015 I finally watched this movie, and then I watched the sequel.
Roderick Rules.
Yeah, Roderick Rules. And then I watched Dog Days the following day, where easily I never read a single book, and I was already invested. Because I feel like within all of us, we all knew that the top book when we were in like middle school and in high school and even in elementary school was always those Diary of a Wimpy Kid books.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it was always the top thing that everyone was reading. And I always was like, what's so special about this? And then I watched the movie, and then I watched the sequel. Then I watched the third film, Dog Days, and I was like, I actually understand it now. These movies and the books are really funny. So then I started back on the first book, and I kept on reading. I haven't read any of the recent ones, if there's been any recent ones, but
There are recent ones, but I'll be honest, I haven't read them. I haven't read them either.
so, But overall, I do really like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise since actually 2015.
All right, good deal. Late bloomer, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's better late than never. Sauerkraut. When was the first time you saw Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Oh God. I remember. Okay, so the first time I was like brought to light on like the entire series as a whole was, pretty sure it was the fourth book. One where Rowley and Greg like lose their friendship. I know it's a weird place to start off on, but that's where I started off on. And so after that, I kind of got obsessed with the books. I bought like literally every single one, and then I heard about the movies. And I watched them. So I'd say maybe like around 2014, 2013, somewhere around there. So a little bit of a late bloomer, but
It's all right. Say okay. I gotta say, you know what? Overall, I want to say this is a positive right out of the gate. It's actually very, very. It's very book accurate.
Hmm.
Like, if you read the book and you watch this movie, these two they're like insanely close. Like, I think the movie differs in some areas, but
Hmm.
the differences don't hurt it
Yeah, like
because it is like
they had a completely new face.
they modernized it. If that makes any sense.
Wait a second. Before we continue, aren't they supposedly gonna do like a fifth movie?
It's going to be we don't really know what it's going to be. It's going to be like an animated one,
Yeah, yeah, I
but
remember that because it was on the Disney showcase, if you remember.
yeah, it's going to be based off Cabin Fever, which is going to be fucking confusing because they went from for Dire Wimpy, then Roger Rules, then Dog Days, and then they rebooted it the first time with the Long Haul, and then they're going back a book by doing Cabin Fever. So it's like it's going all over the place. Jeff
Hmm.
Kinney, fix your shit.
Mhm. Well, yeah.
But kind of so I'm gonna get just I guess we could just start off with what we liked about the film. So you know what? Nindroid, you can go first. What did you like about this movie?
Well, once again, like to repeat from you, it's very book accurate at a lot of points. Um, I also like the actors in this movie. I think they portray each one of the characters very accurately, and it was just a really funny movie. Like, I'm actually gonna judge it more off of just a movie than an adaptation from a book because I first saw the movie, then the book. In my opinion, as a film, it's very actually it's good. It's good. It's very well shot. Uh, it's actually very well told from the book. The dialogue's pretty good from the book as well, and the biggest thing that really attracts me as a film guy and a lot of stuff is the characters. They really ripped off the characters from the pages. Like, I can tell you that the actor who portrayed Greg, I can tell you that's Greg. You know, the person who portrays his father, I mean, not his father, his, his brother, Roderick, can definitely tell you that's my Roderick, all right? You know, like, and that's the biggest thing which will go on when we reach it to the long call. I absolutely hated it because the actors and actresses from the other three, the first three, were not in it. And I think that's where it mainly drove for a lot of people that hated that movie. It was just because the actors and actresses were not as good. And to me, my whole thing on this is that the movie was very well done. I loved how they dealt with the inner conflict between um, him and his best friend, Raleigh. Um, I do like that, and it was all dealt with. The cheese touch thing was also very well done. Um, um, hey, Greg, want to play? Come on, guys.
It's like, no, I can't play. I got the cheese touch again.
Come on, guys.
Oh no, it's okay. As long as you cross your fingers, I'm immune.
um. So
But
like, yeah, Austin.
you know what? I actually want to kind of echo what you said and enjoyed is that the characters in this film are really well done because these characters feel like they're actually in middle school. And like these are exactly thoughts that middle school kids would have. Like take Greg, for example. Greg's main thoughts are that he wants to be rich, he wants to make a shit ton of money, he wants to be like the most popular kid in school, but he's not because he's a fucking loser. But Greg, to me, is a very relatable character because
Mhm.
he makes he's a dick. Like he's an upfront dick. And I think you guys can agree with me that he's a jerk. But you know what? Kids at that age are jerks.
Yes.
Now, of course, this movie is more exaggerated, but let's be honest. Greg is a perfect personification of just being a complete asshole. Like he's like the forgotten middle child, and he's a fucking douche. And Rowley is the kid that, you know, because he's overly protected by his parents. He's kind of like that sensitive kid.
He's very wussy.
Yeah, he's wussy
type.
in a way. But people end up liking him. And I'm actually going to give this example of how like Greg kind of always fucks himself over. You know the sequence where Greg broke Rowley's arm?
Yes.
And then Rowley was getting all the attention, and this was actually a really good, cool plot of the film, is that Greg and... What is that in the background?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's alright. There's a... that plot
Just some
line,
Cheetos.
God damn those Cheetos.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
But the thing is, with that plotline, Greg was jealous of Rowley because Greg said that he was more popular than Rowley, quote unquote. But then once he broke his arm, you know, of course, people are going to flock to the broken arm kid like a flock of birds. And it works because it makes sense. Because when you broke your arm in school, people, you know, at that time would sign your cast. You know, they'd be like, "Oh my god, you know, he's got a cast on," you know, that type of thing. So so when because Greg wants the attention, he's like, "Oh, I broke his arm," and then they're like, "Well, you're a shitty person."
Yeah.
But in whole honesty, it's true. I mean, the kids weren't wrong. Because, again, if someone broke your arm, would he be a good person? No, he'd be a fucking asshole.
Maybe I asked him to. Maybe.
And yeah, Fregley, which we all remember Fregley, he's that weird kid that we all know. Let's be real. And like all these characters like are like they're likable in their own ways. Like they're stereotypical, but they end up working. Like they gel together really well. Especially the family dynamic. Because Roderick is the stereotypical asshole older brother. You know, he's the older brother, and he's kind of like the bully in a sense, where he bullies his brother, and but it works because the actors are so believable. Like you said, like that's why The Long Haul sucks so fucking bad, because the actors sucked.
Exactly. It seems like they did like a Netflix movie.
Exactly, that's what it felt like, but instead it was released in theaters and it bombed.
Or no. I'll even do one better. A TV made movie.
Yeah, if it was a TV made movie, then fine, but it was horrible because the actors just didn't fit the characters. Like Devin Bosnick to me is Roderick. You can't tell me otherwise. He is Roderick. Like Zachary Gordon is Greg. Steve Zahn is Frank. Like, and even the parents, like, even though the parents don't have a lot to do in this film, they're actually very likable in a sense, but each character has their own flaws. Because, take for example, the parents, they spoil the youngest. But you know what? That's stereotypical too, because when you're the youngest, they baby you. Whereas with the middle child, it's stereotypical for them to be kind of like neglectful. But it usually comes together in the end. But you can tell like the parents care for their kids, but the problem is they spoil their youngest too much.
Yeah. And it just shows that they don't really care at that time for the middle children or even the older ones. Sometimes, yeah.
So I like that stuff about it. And actually, I like because Greg is such an asshole. I like that eventually. So I do you guys remember when they got their jobs at Safety Patrol?
Oh yes, yes, yep.
And Greg, borrowed Rowley's jacket, and because so earlier, so I guess we should just talk about the premise of the film. Basically, Greg's trying to be popular at school, and Rowley's kind of there, and whatever, whatever. So they're now in Safety Patrol, and of course, Greg borrows Rowley's coat, and here's what happens. So earlier, and so in the Halloween portion of the film, there's these teenagers in a truck, and because Greg was being a kind of fucked up, he took like one of those like weed cutters, and like he like cut through like a portion of the truck, and so then the teenagers are like, they're pissed off and they're gonna hunt him down or whatever, and they end up escaping. But then when Greg sees the truck come down and he's like walking kids from school, he puts them in a ditch. And then, of course, a neighbor sees it, and she thinks it's Rowley. She's like, Rowley Jefferson, the principal's going to hear about this. And then Greg doesn't even attempt to convince her that it's actually him. He just pretends he's Rowley, and then Rowley takes the blame for it. And when Susan and Greg have that heart-to-heart about doing what's right, Greg's like, oh, I did what's right. I let Rowley take the blame for it. And Rowley got, basically got suspended from Safety Patrol, and he basically, was forced to apologize for something he didn't do. So when Greg's like, oh, well, there's a lesson we can learn from all of this. You should learn I should not put kids in ditches, and you shouldn't let me borrow your coat. And Rowley fucking confronts him. And you know what? This is my favorite scene of the movie, where Rowley confronts Greg and says, you know what? You're a shitty friend. You've treated me like garbage this entire time. You don't really care. You shat on my comic book. You basically broke my arm. And then now you got me fired from Safety Patrol because you lied. To me, that was the best scene of the film, because finally, it wasn't really a wake-up call for Greg, but it was clearly like a big like shock to the system in a sense where it felt, because Rowley basically told him, we're done. We're no longer friends. And Rowley starts, hanging out with this kid named Colin. And then as the movie continues to progress, Greg realizes he kind of needs Rowley. It's not the other way around, because at the beginning of the film, Greg feels like that Rowley needs him, whereas in reality, Greg needed Rowley. Which I kind of like that stark contrast, because in whole honesty, that's kind of how it worked in the books as well. Greg was really lost without him, so it felt like it, but it also felt real, because in school, your friendships with people could end in a drop of a heartbeat. So it's kind of one of those things where, again, it's just, the movie just feels real, and the acting was very convincing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of one of those things where you look at this film and you go, this feels like something that would actually happen. Even though it is more, exaggerated, and yes, it's fictional, it's real. It sucks, but it's real. Shit. You know what? I'm gonna go to Sour. What did you like about this movie?
Oh god, there's a lot of things I like, like you said, about like the characters, how they're all likable. Although, well, we're only on like start like stuff, so I'll get to that part later. I found the comedy like pretty funny, especially when Greg gets what he deserves. and it's meant to be played out as a joke. Like when they're playing what was it called when they were that shirts versus skins? Yeah, that's what it's called. And also the
Yes.
wrestling part where Patty, I think her name was, completely decked Greg.
Oh, dude, that was great.
That was so
It was,
funny.
and you know what? That's something because again, to be honest, Patty understandably hates Greg because of something Greg did in elementary school. He
Yeah.
made fun of her, and guess what? You know what? I was actually more on Patty's side in this, in that exchange than Greg.
Yeah. She's a better person than he is. He's a piece of crap.
And you know what? The film doesn't really hide it either. Like it's obvious he's a piece of crap.
Which is really good.
Indeed, it is. Anything else, Sour?
Um, Story, even though it was a little bit generic for like a middle school type of story, I still found it to be pretty enjoyable. It wasn't trying to
Yeah.
be like anything special or anything.
No. And you know what? This movie, I think what really has it going for it is that it's not anything special. It's just simple. It's
Yeah,
like there's no risks taken.
just
It's
what
just they're exactly like they're literally taking shit from the book and they're putting it in a script.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, and to be honest, it technically shouldn't work, but yet it does.
No, it really shouldn't, but yeah.
It's like overall, the show, or no, not the show, but this movie, it's safe and it's yes, you can say it's technically for kids and young adults, but it's actually really endearing to every
Yeah.
age group.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very, very good movie. Um, so you know what? Let's talk about what we didn't like. So you know what, Sour, you can go first.
So they added a new character. I forget her name. She's the girl who wears a beret, whatever it's called, like a French hat, always underneath the bleachers. She's kind of useless, really. I don't know why they added her. What's her
Yeah,
name?
that
I don't
it
know if you remember or not.
here, I'll look it up. I think it was uh Angie.
Something like that. I have no idea why they even added her in the movie. Like she played no significant role. She wasn't in the books, so
Yeah, she's not in the books and she's an original character and she does nothing. And she doesn't even appear in the other movies.
no, this is the only movie she appears in. It's like, why then? Why is she even in this movie? If she plays no significant role in it, she's not in any of the other movies, then why the fuck is she here? I don't know.
Like
I guess
you could have
I forget the author's name. Sorry.
you could have replaced her with Holly Hills and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Mm-mm. Really wouldn't know.
What were you gonna say about Jeff Kinney, Sour?
It feels like the author was just like, okay, so I'll let you adapt my books in the movie form, but you have to at least add one original character. And then they're just like, oh, fuck it, just add this random girl who enjoys French. That's what it felt
Like the
like.
only way
They
it
just
would have worked
swapped it on.
is if you had her kind of in the rest of the trilogy as either like a love interest to Greg or like a friend. But in this film, she's really
Yeah.
neither.
She's just there. She just talks
Exactly.
to
She is
Greg and
just there.
Raleigh, and that's it.
Like honestly, you could like if you got rid of her, it changes nothing from the plot.
No, except maybe a couple of scenes with her talking. Like, oh well,
Exactly. So it's like one of those things where it's that's like I don't know how to really put it, but it's like it's not a nitpick, but it's not necessarily a thing that really ruins the film. Like it's a problem, but it's not a problem that ruins the movie.
no.
Um, I don't know really. I don't think I have many problems besides the girl,
Yeah,
to be
me
quite
neither.
honest with you. Ninjoid, do you have any problems with this movie, if any? All right, Ninjoid's muted. Uh, but
Android.
I got Ninjoid. All right, well, I think he's asleep,
Android.
or maybe he muted himself for some reason. I don't know. If you're trying to talk, you're muted. Okay, I think he's genuinely gone. Oh,
What?
there he is. No, we were just we were calling you.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I had to go to the bathroom. Um.
Uh,
All right. So my problems.
yeah.
Okay. My problems are with this movie. I really don't have any. Like a little bit of it kind of felt short compared to the book. If you realize, I mean, like that's not a huge problem though.
No.
It's just, I mean, like it could have went on a little bit more. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the running time of the movie. It's just like there's this one huge like not time, yeah, a little bit of a time jump in a sense. Like it was still a good time jump by like a few months or whatever, because it still got what you needed from the book.
Yeah,
If you
because
get what I mean.
and to be fair though, the book also time jumped as well.
Yeah, that I forgot about that actually. Um, Here's the I haven't read
Yeah,
the
but that's
books in a while. I did read the
And
books, Ryan. It's just I forgot. All right.
you know what? I will say like
no, I
put
didn't
them
say that. I said I need to go back and reread the book.
Oh yeah, me too.
but it's like this movie's more so about a middle schooler going through his first year in middle school.
And
So
yeah,
the
well,
time
trust.
jumps actually made sense.
Yes. Also, trust me for crying out loud. Uh, Now, when I was in middle school, I actually didn't. Well, here, wait. Let me actually think. Okay, I kind of related to what he was experiencing, but kind of not at the same exact time. But yeah, like it was still really good. But with problems for it, I mean, there's really no problems. Can I just say
Yeah,
that? Like Holly could have been there or whatever. Who was the other girl? It was one of Ryan's biggest things. Didn't you say that, Ryan?
The French girl, Angie, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm only
What's her
saying
name?
she's French
Yeah.
because she was a bit of a.
Well, she was French. Well, the biggest thing is that could have been replaced. Um, I mean, like overall, though, this movie doesn't have problems. Like to me, it's just a good popcorn movie that I'll put in if it's on TV. Like I'll be like, oh my god, they're doing a Diary of a Wimpy Kid marathon of the first 3 movies. Heck yeah, I'm gonna put it on because I'm entertained, and I don't really find many problems with at least the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
So,
Sean says, does anyone here use OBS and won't let me stream? I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm going through pounds of bullshit. What kind of OBS are you using? Because but it also depends on what you're actually going to be using for. Like, are you streaming games, or are you streaming, do you want to do something like what we're doing?
because well, okay, because if you want to do what you're doing, StreamYard, like what we're doing, StreamYard's the best one. Am I right, Austin?
Yes. If you want to stream games, that's where I recommend using Streamlabs.
Mm-hmm. Like, to me, OBS is just too hard, too complicated. Like, I bet you if you, like, actually sit down, like, yeah, it's gonna be complicated first time, but then, like, after you use it quite a bit, then you'll probably get used to it. But I have no clue. I tried with OBS, and I even remember Ryan was asking me questions. How do we do OBS? I have no clue still. After I played around with it for so long.
Yeah, like, I have Streamlabs, and I barely know how to use it. Like, I've managed to figure it out through luck. That's how hard it is. It's overly complicated.
Yeah. I can do everything. That's true.
Yeah, so if you want to do something that we're doing, then definitely I recommend StreamYard. But if not, if you want to stream games, use Streamlabs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do need help setting that up, Sean, I can help. I can help you with the StreamYard thing because it's really easy. It's just give them your email, you get an access code, and then boom.
Well, bam.
And then you just gotta link it to your YouTube channel, and there you go.
Speaking of which, I have to pay for this month still. Because I've been getting some notifications that I have to soon pay up for this month.
When does it end up running up?
I think it's this Wednesday.
All
to
right.
be honest, so I'll do it by then.
I'm streaming making music on FL
because
or trying FL Studio. That I don't know.
streaming me making music. Okay, that I'm actually gonna have to ask Thomas maybe, because Thomas on his channel he did the FL Studio with music. Do you remember those videos he did? That's FL Studio. So we'll see, because Thomas barely talks to us anymore, really. So we'll see.
Yeah. But back to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. No, like, I kind of agree with you. There's really nothing wrong with this movie. It's just the only issues are really nitpicks.
Yeah, like that's me too, because it tells what the director or writer or just the person who wanted to adapt the book. It tells what they wanted to do.
Exactly.
They wanted to basically just tell about a kid who is a snot, basically wanting everything, to him actually caring about what he has, such as a best friend. So,
Yeah. As far as, so I guess we really talked about this movie because we basically talked about the plot. We talked about all the key. Well, I guess we could talk about the ending because that's really all that we have to talk about. Which the ending makes sense. It's just, even in the book, it felt kind of awkward because the teenagers just mysteriously appear again, and then they want revenge on them on Greg and Rally, but they didn't do it earlier. So that to me was it's like I can suspend my disbelief on certain things, but even then I feel like it was just a little awkward and they could have done it sooner. But I get in the context of what they were going for the ending, I didn't mind it. The teenagers come back. Greg and Rally actually started fighting because finally this shit came to blows. Because finally Greg kind of tells him, look, I'm trying. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? And pretty much, and then Rally's like, nothing, because it's clear these two their relationship is strained. And when the teenagers basically, they force Rally to eat the cheese because the cheese touch, and they force Rally to eat the cheese, and then the teenagers get run off. And then when it's almost revealed that Rally ate it, it's then Greg ends up doing a selfless act, and Greg says, I ate the cheese. Which, you know what? A part of it could come off as like Greg is being an asshole here too, because technically Greg could have been doing it for fame. But I feel like it was also done because he realized that was his last kind of way to really repair his friendship with Rally, because if that didn't work, then it's just done.
Yes.
And so it's then they are like, oh my god, Greg has the cheese touch, and everyone runs away, and Greg, Rally end up patching things up, and then this line was really nice because Rally was always like, hey, you want to come play? And Greg's like, nah, it's more like hang out. But Greg's like, so you want to come to my house and play? And Rally's like, yeah. And then you see them kind of patch things up and they're friends again. And of course the movie ends with Rally saying, Zooey Mama.
Zooey Mama.
Which was the comic book that Rally made. And Greg was like, oh, that sucked. And then it ended up being like a comic for the school paper.
Yeah, the comic strip.
Which I thought that was kind of funny because that led to the jealousy thing. But is there really anything else we could really talk about in terms of the film? Because I think we talked about everything.
I mean, like, that I remember we've basically talked about everything. The kids on Halloween, like the Halloween stuff, was very good.
I just liked how Greg's dad had like buckets of water, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna dump water on all the teenagers that come up here." And then the mom's like, "Well, remember last year when you were hiding in the bushes doing this?" And then he's like, "Oh,
yes."
And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go up I'm gonna go up on the roof so that way I can see better." And then of course he dumps it on Greg and Rally because the dad's the dad, and he's like, "Sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Some funny stuff. Not gonna lie. What's up, BJ? Finally watched New Mutants. Nice. And he thought it was understandable. I thought it was
Wait, Austin, I did not know you actually watched New Mutants finally.
Honestly, I forgot I watched it.
I actually liked the movie. I mean, like,
it was average.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like average X-Men movies, actually.
I don't, because the problem is with average, there's nothing to talk about.
The post-credit scene was good. Well, yeah, you're right. It was basically average. Like, it's a okay movie. Can we just agree upon that? It was okay.
It was okay, but that's the problem. It's okay. Like, if it's bad, at least it gives you something to talk about. And if it's great, you can talk about it.
Yeah, and that's our problem with Far From Home. It's just okay.
Sean says, when you get to Roderick Rules, talk about General Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew says, I've seen the film, it's good, but the animated segments were better.
No.
I don't think it, I think the live act, I appreciate the animated parts because you kind of should pay respect to the book, but I do think, I would like the animated movie to be based off the because knowing what we see in the credits and the opening, you can do an animated movie with those like that type of animation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with it because if it's a movie, I don't want to see that type of style.
Yeah. Exactly.
EJ says, well, as for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I used to like it when I was younger, but looking back at it now, it's cringeworthy.
EJ.
At points, yes. Because, like, I'll be honest, that dance sequence with Raleigh and his mom, that was kind of cringe.
Oh, that always cringed me, but it's supposed to cringe you.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually have to say, but I gotta say it's relatable, even though it's exaggerated, because it's more about kids going through their middle school years.
Yeah, and Riley, like, here's the thing with him. He always annoyed me, even in the books, so technically that can't be a problem to me.
No.
He just, he's basically, you know what? You know who's a good example of who Riley is? You know who Riley is?
You mean Raleigh?
Raleigh, sorry. You know who's Raleigh? This guy down here. Yep, that's Ryan.
Damn.
Yep, Ryan is definitely Raleigh.
Just being honest. Well, to be honest though, EJ, like I kind of get where you're coming from because I don't like there are things in it that might not age well. But when I look back, because like this movie really is not meant to be like an amazing movie. Like it's not. I mean,
like
I
this.
think,
Yeah, you can.
Because Nindroid said it best. It's really just a popcorn film.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like it's not anything like it doesn't change like it doesn't change Hollywood. It didn't change the movie business. It was just I thought it was a faithful book adaptation, and I thought it was solid.
Yeah.
Which is what you need a book adaptation to be. Because let's take Harry Potter for example. Like Harry Potter is another example of a book series that was taken and put on the big screen, and it translated well.
For the most part, yeah.
But an example of this not being the case is Percy Jackson, which should have translated well.
I still like the first one.
Oh, I like the first one too. It's just the second one sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what sucks about it, because there's still so much to tell with Percy Jackson that one movie is not going to suffice.
Exactly.
So, I think. Well,
yeah.
you can go ahead.
Well, I was just going to tell my thoughts on Percy Jackson, but even the Percy Jackson films, when I first watched the first one, I still got vibes like this wasn't like as big of a movie like Harry Potter, like a theatrical, should I say, like not masterpiece, but something huge. If you get what I mean. Like something worth seeing on the big screen. You know. Well, that's a lot of films, though, to be honest. So yeah, that's and with Percy Jackson too, that disappointed the frick out of me. I'm gonna tell you, because I actually was kind of looking forward to it, because I did not actually read the books till after I saw the two movies. So
and you know what?
Yeah.
Percy Jackson, the movie, is entirely different from the book.
Yeah, I know, because I read the book.
It's way too fucking different. Like, that's the problem. It's like, you can take risks by making your own thing, but at the same time, it's easier just to adapt the book.
You see, like, that's the biggest thing as well. Even adapting TV shows. Like, if you want to make a movie of a TV show, you know, like, just grab elements from the TV show. But no, instead we get trashiness. such as the Lego Ninjago movie. So yeah.
Oh, Percy Jackson was disappointing as hell. I agree. Exactly. It was disappointing
Are they trying
because
to
it
do?
should have been better.
Are they trying to do like a reboot of that? I'm pretty sure I heard in
I thought they
Disney.
were last time I
I think
checked.
it. I think it's like a TV show they were gonna do on Disney Plus. To be honest with you, though, there's so many TV shows planned for Disney Plus. It's gonna get piled up sooner or later. You
But
know
the thing
where?
is, I think Percy Jackson works better as a show because
Yes.
as a movie, I think I enjoy the first film. I think as much as it's really different, it still is faithful to the source material, even
Also,
though it just doesn't work entirely.
also, the first movie actually felt like a popcorn movie, like a good popcorn movie. Like if you knew nothing about the source material and you just sat down and watched it, you'll have a good time, a good hour and a half. Just it's almost like this movie, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, even though I prefer Diary of the Wimpy Kid a little bit more. But it's like to me, normal book um, adoptions or adaptions, whatever the heck you want to really call it. Um, the biggest thing is if it actually feels like a popcorn movie, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
If it's like a piece of shit though, like Percy Jackson 2 Sea of Monsters, then it's like fuck no.
precisely. All right. Well, I mean, we talk about everything about the film. Let's give our final grades. We'll start with you, Ninja. What's your final grade?
Overall, because it's just a popcorn movie, I'm actually gonna give it maybe an 8 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with it. It's it's just a popcorn movie. And normally I give just popcorn movies an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. They don't deserve a 9
No.
or a 10. It's just an 8, a solid 8, nothing above that for me. I really enjoyed it. Now, there are some things that I do have problems with, but there's really no problem though with this. Like they're just nitpicks,
Exactly.
and that's my final grade.
EJ said he saw Conjuring Part 3, and to be honest, it's nowhere near as good as the first two, but I still found some enjoyment in it. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, is that how I say it?
I
Farmiga,
don't know.
Farmiga, sure, we'll say still gives stellar performances. I would give it a 7 out of 10. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. I haven't seen Conjuring 3 yet, so I don't know.
Have you seen the first two movies?
I haven't seen the third part.
Honestly, I don't think so. Should probably do so.
Well, dude, if you're not into dolls, then I recommend don't start.
All right, well then I ain't gonna fucking watch it then.
Because I don't like dolls.
Well, you're not gonna like Resident Evil 8 Village, but at the end of the part at least.
Because Conjuring is part of Annabelle, and Annabelle's always in the Conjuring stuff.
Okay, well then I guess I ain't fucking watching it then.
Bingo, because that's my rule as well with horror movies.
Alrighty. Sour, where can they find? Or no, sorry. What's your final grade?
Yeah, Rowley.
I'd give this movie maybe I'd say a decent 8 out of 10.
Decent at 8 out of 10. All right. I don't know what I'm gonna give it either a 7.5 or an 8 because
Woohoo!
well, I might border on a 7 because it's really just a popcorn film. Like
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do have a good point. But this also adapts the movie like the book, very well. So you also gotta look at it from that standpoint.
True.
That's
Um,
what pushed me up to an 8 because I was originally like a 7. So yeah.
you know what? You're right. I'll go an 8, but I'm gonna say a low 8 because it got brownie points for me because it does adapt the book, but
Mhm.
it's just a popcorn film.
Yes.
Like it's not a movie I'm gonna seek out all the time. It's like, oh my god, I gotta watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid again. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's not those types of movie. It's like it's a movie that if it's like I'm bored one night and I'm just scrolling through Disney Plus or whatever and I see it, I might put it on. It's not a movie I'm gonna watch all the time. Like it's not a movie I'm gonna keep going back to because it's not that good. But if you're a fan of the books and you're like, oh, I've never seen the movies, go and watch the movies. At least the first three. Don't watch the fourth one because the fourth one sucks. But we'll get to that when we get to that eventually. But oh boy, it's bad. Um, but yeah, so already the franchise already starting off in a good place. 8, pretty like I think it was like across the board an 8,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
some good stuff. And yes, over the next couple of weeks, we are going to be reviewing all 4 Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. So next
Hmm.
episode of Shadow Eye will be Roderick Rule.
Ooh,
Yes, and I'm gonna rewatch it over
Roderick's
the
so cool
week.
though. Everybody wants to be Roderick. Nobody wants to
Oh,
May-
be
dude,
Rick.
Roderick is fucking awesome.
Maybe we'll actually do a watch party in prep for this. I don't know.
I don't know. I might watch it back myself because I do remember Roderick Rules being my favorite movie out of the series.
Yeah, same with me.
So, I mean, I'm excited to talk about it because, like, I think, like, it's an example of it's still like a popcorn movie, but I think it's a popcorn movie that's really good.
Yeah, it's beyond just a good popcorn movie.
It's a
It's a
great
fun.
popcorn movie.
Yes, it's a great popcorn movie. It's also a fun one as well. Like it's a type of movie in which if you are very like upset that day and you're very upset going to bed and if you just put in that movie, you'll become happy. That's what I mean by that.
So it's like me when I watch Revenge of the Sith.
Mhm.
Which actually, before we end this, I just want to say I actually fell asleep a couple days ago while watching Revenge of the Sith because I usually have something on in the background before I go to sleep, and I put on Revenge of the Sith. Oh my god, it's like that movie is like one of the reasons why I love Star Wars because it's such a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
So good.
Glad though that you don't have like a 4 hour cut of that.
Who has a 4 hour cut
Uh,
of this?
um, I found a 4 hour cut of Revenge of the Sith. I mean, like, I could send it to you if you want, but I found a 4 hour cut of it.
Well, I don't think I have the time and patience for 4 hours, but I mean, sure. If you can send it to me, I might peruse through it.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple comments. Deshaun says all Percy Jackson movies were fire to me. I mean, the first one I can get behind, but the second one's the one that I can't get behind, if that makes any sense. But with that being said, though, guys, we did reach the hour mark. So I do want to thank everybody in the chat. EJ, Deshaun, Sean, Kavari, Andrew. Thank you guys for sticking around for this whole hour. I'm gonna let everybody go around the panel one more time, tell everybody where they can find themselves at. We'll start with Sauerkraut. Where can they find you at?
You got to find me on my YouTube channel, /. You didn't even spell his name right. God.
I'm sorry.
Here, I'll change it for you, buddy. There you go.
You guys find me on my YouTube channel, /. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at @Circle06 and Discord at @Circle06 from the 442.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Next up we got Nindroid. Where can they find you at?
Alright, you guys can personally find me on my own YouTube channel, Nindroid243, where I'm currently working on my Nindroid cuts like everyone else knows. Hashtag release the Nindroid cuts. These cuts will improve the sequel trilogy and will tell my own story and my own take on the sequel trilogy while improving many of the fans' problems, such as a lack of a plan and lack of cohesiveness to a story. So I hope that you guys get ready for that, and they might be delayed, not gonna lie, because I think I now have a editor that can make some new scenes for me. So just saying, that's some behind the scenes stuff working right now. And you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Nindroid, for Galactic Chat on Fridays. This week will be top 10 favorite Star Wars movies. I'm excited to see everyone's lists, of course, because we all agreed that we will be doing now some top 10 lists for streams. And it's very exciting because also this upcoming week, we're also going to be celebrating a 1 year of Galactic Chat.
Oh shit.
So, yeah. It's been officially a year, guys.
Oh my god.
So, it's we're probably going to be trying to get some people on that night, and yeah. And also you can find me on Austin's and Ryan's YouTube channels, or Rowley down there. So yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We also had LDG in the house. What's up, LDG? Glad you came in for the end. And EJ comes in. Congrats on 222 views for the Skywalker Saga and Lego Nindroid.
Wait a second. I got 222 views on that thing.
I guess so.
Oh shit, I do.
222. Perfect number.
Nice.
And I guess before we wrap it up, I just want to say that I actually, if you go to my Twitter, there is a pinned tweet on my profile saying hashtag release the Austinators DCEU. And I said that and as you all know, I am doing a rewrite of the entire DCEU, because let me tell you, the DCEU is a fucking dumpster fire. Okay? It is a fucking horrendous dumpster fire. It is. I mean, as fans of DC, we can all agree it's bad. The cinematic universe is horrible. It's just bad. All of it's bad.
Yeah.
And I'm almost ready to fucking, because in whole honesty, I'm about to make a video explaining why the everything failed. Because it was both directors and a studio that had no clue what the fuck they were doing, and they just wanted money and egos. So you know what? I'm going to do my take on the entire DCEU. All right, it's gonna be like 4 phases, shit ton of movies. Like in my first phase, I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7, 6 or 7 movies. And you know what? And my first one will be, and I think my first one will be coming out this week, as I am doing a rewrite of Man of Steel. I'm gonna be telling you guys how I did Man of Steel. So you know what? I'm gonna say it'll be coming out this week, and also like I said, I got my streams on Saturday, Splash Talk Sunday, ShadowEye. You can find me on Chaos Central for both the Loki roundtable and you can find me on the Bad Batch roundtable Mondays, JJ aka Sith Lord 3027 for randomness at its finest. Ninjoid's channel for Galactic Chat, sometimes Nick Wise's channel. Basically, you can find me on Zach Gaxiola's channel tomorrow on the where we're talking Halloween 2. And you can basically find me everywhere, and good old wrestling tomorrow on Monday. So please go check out all my stuff once you can. Like I said, great show tonight, and we're gonna end with this with this comment. Hashtag release the Oscillators ECEU. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad that the hashtag is getting steam. I appreciate it. But yeah, with that said, everybody, good shit tonight. I can't wait to do this next week where we talk Roderick Rules, and yeah, that about does it. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Osnator, Ninjoid, and Sauerkraus signing out. Take care, guys.
Later.
Anti-life is found, Assad.